My name is Adeola, and I've lived my whole life in Ayetoro, a small village where the land is as tough as the lives we led. Every day, I worked under the burning sun, my hands rough and calloused from years of hard labor. All I had was a small plot of land and my mother, Iya Ade, who, despite her frailty, was my rock, my guiding light. We never had much, but we had each other. I often wondered if there was more to life, but I never let those thoughts linger. As the elders always said, what is meant to be will always find its way. But little did I know, fate had something extraordinary in store for me. It was just another day in the fields when my hoe struck something hard. At first, I thought it was just a rock, but as I dug deeper, I uncovered an old, rusted chest. My heart raced as I pried it open, revealing a sight that left me breathless. Gold, jewels, ancient artifacts, all glittering in the sunlight. I could hardly believe my eyes. How could a poor farmer like me stumble upon such a fortune? I knew at that moment that my life was about to change, but I had no idea just how much. My discovery spread like wildfire through the village. Suddenly, everyone seemed to know my name. Some looked at me with admiration, others with envy, and some with outright suspicion. Even Tunde, my childhood friend, couldn't hide the envy in her eyes. I could feel the weight of their stares, their expectations. This treasure was more than just wealth, it was a burden, one I wasn't sure I was ready to carry. But what choice did I have? The ancestors had placed it in my hands, and I had to figure out what it meant. Confused and overwhelmed, I sought out Baba Alamu, the village elder. He had always been a wise man, the keeper of our history, and I knew he would have answers. In his dimly lit hut, surrounded by the relics of our ancestors, Baba Alamu told me of an ancient prophecy. The treasure, he said, was not just a stroke of luck. It was a test, a calling from the ancestors. He spoke of a forgotten prophecy, a leader who would rise from the dust to restore our village to its former glory. As I listened, the weight of his words pressed down on me. Could I really be the one destined to fulfill such a fate? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that this treasure wasn't mine alone. It belonged to my people, to Ayetoro. I could have kept it all to myself, built a grand house, lived like a queen. But how could I do that, knowing that my neighbors, my friends, and even my enemies were struggling? On the day of my decision, I stood before the whole village, the chest in my hands, and I made my choice. I offered the treasure to my people, to rebuild our homes, to nourish our children, to honor the ancestors who had guided me to it. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but in that moment, I knew it was the right one. With the treasure shared among the people, Ayetoro began to change. New homes rose from the dust, the fields bloomed with life, and the joy of my people echoed through the land. I walked among them, no longer just a poor farmer, but a leader, a woman who had found her true purpose. My mother, Iya Ade, was by my side, her eyes filled with pride. I realized then that true wealth isn't measured by gold or jewels, but by the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. The ancestors had indeed smiled upon me, and in giving away my fortune, I found something far greater, a sense of purpose, a connection to my people, and a future filled with hope.